Can you answer the question?
Are you aware or not aware that there is...
Of course.
You know that the Presidential Council for Minority Rights vets all bills before they are sent to the President.
I read my papers, parliamentary papers, yes, of course.
Yes. It has custodial powers. It can say no to bills if it deems them discriminatory.
Discriminatory only in regard to certain matters of affecting the community, the community at the moment.
In the same way as
if there's going to be racial problems or
it has the power
of racial harmony.
Is that it has the power?
Yes.
It is it is not an elected body. Is it an executive body?
We are talking about electing an installation of an elected president. And here you are diluting the issue by saying that there should be a person to take care of our national reserve and appointing of our civil servants. These are only, as I have said, perhaps you do not understand me, a distraction from the real issue. The real issue is that your government is going to install one person with executive powers. And you can please tell me whether or not there is any provision to check Parliament from further giving any more power.
Mr. Chairman is being cross-examined. You should give the answer.
Yes. Straight.
Straight, yes or no?
Yes.
Is or is not the Presidential Council for Minority Rights an executive body? It has custodial powers. Does that make it an executive body?
Well, there's nothing...
It doesn't. Why not say so?
Doesn't say anything about, stopping the use of reserve.
But it has the powers. It can prevent Parliament from passing bills, any bill.
The Presidential Council for Minority Rights, its purpose is set up to ensure that no bills would disrupt our racial harmony in Singapore.
And the elected president is set up to make sure that no bills or any other government measures will eat into reserves accumulated by previous governments, specific purposes. Those are custodial powers, similar to the Presidential Council for Minority Rights.
No, they are not.
Does that make the elected president an executive one?
Yes, of course, as I said so.
And the Presidential Council for Minority Rights is also an executive body?
The fact that the president is able to stop the use of finance without...
I think we'll get the debate going if you could answer his question directly, and then we can come back to your turn.
Are you opposed to the Presidential Council for Minority Rights, which has custodial powers?
Well, there's no necessity.
You do not oppose that?
There is no necessity for the Presidential Council for Minority Rights. I was not in politics when it was...
You would get rid of it. Mr. Jeyaretnam, you would surely agree with Mr. Chiam that there's no need for such a Presidential Council, or indeed any safeguards whatsoever to the system.
So far there is no law which is passed in Parliament which has been refused by Presidential Council, except I know of one in which Parliament overruled the Presidential Council in the GRC proposal. That is what has happened.
Is that true?
You have made laws to cut out the powers of the Presidential Council for Minority Rights. That is what you have done.
That's not the answer.
Yes,
we haven't got the answer from Mr. Chiam.
You want to respond?
Was I asked the question?
Yes, you were asked a question. Do you agree with Mr. Chiam that we should scrap the Presidential Council for Minority Rights and it has an executive function?
I think there is a confusion of thought here. The Presidential Council for Minority Rights protects the minorities' rights, their culture, and their, way of life here. Now, the Presidential Council for Minority Rights is not effective. Perhaps you have forgotten that Parliament can override the Presidential Committee's decision on any bill by itself passing the bill again with a two-thirds majority. Are you aware of that? So that the Presidential Committee is not effective. My party would like to see the Presidential Committee for Minority Rights made really effective.
But it has in no way diminished the standing of Parliament. Neither will the elected president. Now let me ask you another question. Mr. Chiam, you say the elected president denies people one man, one vote.
Yes.
In America, they have one man, one vote.
Yes.
They vote for a president.
But their system is different.
They vote for a president.
Yes.
Therefore, an elected president does not in itself mean that one man, one vote is
We
diminished.
have got a different system here.
Can you answer the question, Mr. Tiam?
Yes, what is?
The question is, in America, they vote for a president.
Correct.
They also have one man,
They
one
have
vote.
got an electoral system.
Yes.
They vote person,
And they have
other people to
democracy.
vote the president.
And they have
Yes.
democracy.
Yes.
We will have an elected president with powers far fewer than the American president.
Correct.
We will have one man, one vote too.
Effectively, no, in time to come.
Why does that follow?
Because if you have two-thirds in parliament, and when there is a threat to overthrowing you, as stated in the Prime Minister in 1984, then you will amend the Constitution.
Mr. Tiam, if
amend
we
the
had wanted to
Constitution
amend the Constitution,
To give more powers to the president.
if we had wanted to amend the
and that will be
Constitution,
the end of one man, one vote system.
if we had wanted to amend the Constitution, why do you think we did not do so before the general election?
Well,
We have the majority.
It is
You campaigned on this issue in 1984, if you will remember. You failed.
no, we were against.
You campaigned.
We were against the elected president.
Yes, and you said, if I may quote you, in your first election rally, you said, if the PAP is returned again, parliamentary and democratic government here will be changed to a presidential system in which power will rest with a few or one person.
Yes,
We have not done that.
I still stand by it.
Have
because
we
the
done
time
that?
has not come yet. Once it comes, you will do it. Your government will do it.
Why do you think we have not done so all these years? Since 1966, there was no opposition in Parliament until 1981, when Mr. Jeyaretnam was elected. And then in 84, you were elected. And in 86, Mr. Jeyaretnam was disqualified and you were alone again. All these years, we have never passed any bill or amended any constitutional provision without full debate, discussion, and public explanation.
That is
Why do you think we want to do so now?
because at the moment you don't perceive the threat. Once the threat is there, I believe, unless you give us assurances, you will go ahead to amend the Constitution to grant further powers. Then
If the threat is
those
there, Mr.
proposed-
Tiam, it would be too late for us to do anything, would it
No,
not?
you can amend the Constitution in 1 hour on the certificate, in one afternoon on a certificate of emergency. 3 readings, 1, 2, 3.
Which could be done without an elected president.
No, you must have an elected president
Why?
first.
You can have 3 readings without an elected president?
Well, you would not have the
Why?
you would not have the moral authority. You would not dare to. That is the only reason why you want to
So
go
without
for
an elected
election.
president, we would not dare, we would. It's that simple.
Well-
Can I ask you one last question? Do you understand that the restrictions on the president's powers to restrict spending is only on old money, not new money?
Well, that is a very difficult issue.
You understand that?
Because even Dr. To himself says that it's difficult to determine what is old money
Mr.
and
Tiam,
new
you're not
money.
debating Dr. To here. Do you understand that?
We understand.
Why
it's
do you
serious.
object?
I think we should move on to Mr. J.D. Jeyaretnam now. It's your turn to ask the questions.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We've been told that this plan was first mooted in 1984.
82.
82. All right.
84 publicly.
Yes. Pray, why in 1982 and not before? Was it because the 31st of October saw an opposition member in Parliament?
Mr. Jeyaretnam, you flatter yourself. In 1972, the Constitution was amended to prevent sovereignty from being
Will
surrendered.
Brigadier General Lee answer
Because
the
you ran the
question?
line. In
Mr. Chairman,
1982,
I think...
Will Brigadier General Lee answer the question?
in 1982,
Why in 82?
because by 1982, a sufficiently large amount of reserves had been built up that we were worried for Singaporeans that should something happen, their savings would not be protected. Before that, there was no money.
Was there a large jump in the reserves from 81 to 82?
These are cumulative
Please
steps.
answer the question.
The PAP
Was there a big jump in the reserves?
The reserves have been building up year by